Hey everybody, what's it, Fox Gaming here. I've got a brand new PvP build video for you today. This is my 100% hazard resistance build that's designed to counter the Riot foam dominance in Conflict in the Dark Zone right now. It's relatively easy to put this set together, and this isn't a set that you would ever main, admittedly, but it is a set that you want to have in your loadouts saved and ready to switch to if you are coming up against one of two types of players. One, the Riot foam player, which are everywhere at the moment, and with good reason, and I will explain why they're so dominant at the moment, and two, the Eclipse player, which is also quite popular in the Dark Zone at the moment, and to a lesser extent Conflict. So this build utilises 3-piece Eclipse Protocol, which the 3 pieces does actually give you 30% hazard protection. So it's my understanding that this is the only way that you can hit 100% hazard protection. I do run this with Riot foam myself, so unlike certain 3-piece sets in the game, actually the 2 and 3-piece both benefit my build. 2 pieces 15% status effects, so that's going to make my Riot foam simply ensnare for longer. And also, if anybody breaks my armour on Firewall, it will make, well, first of all you get the 20% burn duration on Firewall, but the 15% status effects buffs that even further, so that's really nice. It also gives me skill haste with the hazard protection, and skill haste just means that I can get my defender drone back faster to make me, a little bit more tanky, and of course my Riot foam fills up faster. So that's a 3-piece just there. You can craft these at the end of your season. That is season pass for season 2 TU10. So you can just make these yourself. I think I crafted 2 or 3 of these, but if not, you just want to farm for them and make sure they already roll with hazard protection, because you will need to re-roll the yellows onto either blues or reds. So you see all 3 of mine do have hazard protection on there. The way to complete this build is the 2-piece Seska. So you notice 1 piece gives you 10% critical hit chance, which is nice. It buffs your damage a little bit more, and then of course the 10% hazard protection. And that's the 2nd piece just down here with hazard rolled onto it as well. And then finally 1 Jarl piece, which gives you 10% hazard protection, and this already has hazard rolled onto it as well. In fact, my backpack even doesn't, so you don't even need to have all pieces with hazard protection on them, which is nice. So the talents I've gone for here, I've been playing around quite a lot with this, and I decided to go for Unbreakable and Companion because I just want just a nice reliable way to have a bit more tankiness as I'm running this 3 blue 3 red, and a nice way to give myself a bit of extra damage as well, just by being in range of an enemy or by having my defender drone up. So that works quite well for me. What talents you choose to run here are completely up to you. The only important part of any of this build is the actual gear sets themselves, the 3-piece Eclipse, the 2-piece Seska and the 1-piece Jarl. The talents you choose to run, the weapon you choose to run, and the specialisation and the skills are completely and utterly your choice. This is just a build that you would switch to if you are constantly getting foamed or set on fire via like 4-piece Eclipse build users. So just bear that in mind. I already had my pesty on anyway, so I've just decided to stick with it because it does do a lot of damage over time, which is a good way to counter a Foundry Bulwark player. But, I tried this for Lady Death, and that works really well as well, and I just rolled on, because luckily that's the parts I can roll on these pieces. I just rolled on Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush, because they are very good, and I actually quite like them. The armor break the armor break to apply burn is quite nice here, but again, it's by no means necessary. It just gives me a bit of extra tankiness with the heals as well. So the reason Riot foam is so prevalent in Conflict at the moment is the meta is all based around 2 things. 1, armor regen, and 2, your opposition being within 10 meters of you so that they can achieve huge damage. The way they're doing that is with Intimidate. Intimidate gives you 35% extra damage to all enemies within 10 meters when you have bonus armor. Adrenaline Rush gives you extra bonus armor when you're within 10 meters. Firewall gives you a 10% buff to any enemy that's within 10 meters of you, and that applies to your whole team if they're shooting the same enemy. And the Firewall Shield gives you up to 12% extra damage to enemies within 10 meters. Riot foam counters both of those. 1, it stops them getting within the 10-meter range so you can melt them down. And 2, it helps to counter the what a lot of Foundry users like to do, which is run away to heal up by, again, sticking them down. So that's the only reason that Riot foam is so popular. It's not been buffed, it's not better than it ever used to be. And I know a couple of good players that sorry about that. Hay fever's punishing me a bit today. So Riot foam, I know a couple of good players that have been using it forever, really, and they play it really well. So that's the only reason. It's just a way to counter the healing and the close range combat. I run it just for the same reasons. I don't want anybody to get in my grill, basically, so that's the only reason that I run it. So yeah, try and get on those 2 Seska, 1 Jarl and 3 Eclipse with hazard protection rolled onto 5 to 6 pieces, and then the rest of it you can just try and roll into critical hit chance if possible. If you go over to my stats, you will see that I'm currently sat at 103% hazard protection. This means that nobody can proc perks like Wicked or Shock and Awe off of me, which is fantastic. It physically won't allow them. Bleed doesn't touch me, Blind, Deaf, Burn, Confuse, Disrupt, which is the EMP jammer, Ensnare, which is the Riot foam, Poison, which is only in PvE, and obviously Shock Traps. None of these touch me even a little bit, it just says immune above my head, so it is a really nice way to counter that. What I'm going to do is load into a game, and I'll hopefully come up against a bunch of Eclipse and foam users, and yeah. So the downside to this build is it doesn't have the sort of raw tankiness of Foundry, and it doesn't have the raw weapon damage of Intimidate and Adrenaline Rush, or the raw weapon damage of my 3-piece Striker build. So it definitely has its weaknesses. The point of this build is to stay alive by not being foamed, but maybe more importantly to take the foam and the burn away from your team, because for the most part, people that run foam, they run it with 0 skill tier, so they're going to have 1 in the mag, or possibly 2 if they have the mod to fit on the chem launcher. If they're wasting those on you, they're not using them on your team that will be susceptible to them, so you are indirectly benefiting your team by drawing the status effects away. So you do want to play this slightly front line, but you know, I've done mine as 3-3, 3 blue, 3 red, because I wanted the extra weapon damage for Pestilence or Lady Death, but I wanted enough tankiness to be able to get in there and take some of those hits. It might be better to run this with high armor, and that's the beauty of the Eclipse pieces. You can run all 3 of those into blue, because you need to get them with hazard protection anyway, otherwise this won't work, which means you're free to reroll the yellow skill tier mod slot to either weapon damage or armor. Would be interested to know if anybody's run a similar build to this. I haven't seen it yet. I see a lot of the old hazard protection build, the 511 instead of the new Eclipse, but that's not 100%. You can't hit 100% with that, I don't think. I think you can on certain things like Burn and Bleed, because you can run it with Demolitionist for the extra 20% burn, and you can run mods, but my build I don't need to run any blue mod. It's all there from the gear set alone, so I can run, if I have blue mods, I can run incoming repairs if I'm going to run a fixer drone, I can run protection from elites if I'm going to run Dark Zone. You know, it really frees up your mod slots as well. Oh, 2 Lady Death, 2 Pestilence, nice. If you do have any suggestions of this build, if you tried it out for yourself and you run it with 6 armor, 6 reds, or anything in between, please let me know in the comments. I'd be very keen to try out some of the builds, or the variants of this build. I will credit you in my video. I'm currently on Xbox. My gamer tag is WhatsItFox with a space in the middle, so there's no gaming at the end of that. But please do let me know if you know, you've got any variants of this build, and you have any suggestions. I'll do one of 2 things. I'll either play the build myself based on how you have it, and I will credit you in the video, or I will play with you. We can group up together on Xbox. Just drop me a message on Xbox or on the YouTube comments with your gamer tag, and we'll play together. And again, I'll credit you, and I'll you know, we'll catch that on live stream. See that? No fire.
Rogue striker drone detected. Rogue stinger hive detected.
So yes, I'll take the explosion damage.
Rogue fixer drone detected.
What I can do here, let's get the firewall here on the go. And I can spread these pestle troops around. This is a little bit cheeky here. Come on, break it before he comes in, come on.
Vital signs critical.
Please don't have pressure. Oh, what killed me there? Oh no, I passed it on to that. No. That passed it on to somebody else. Nah, damn it. Maybe I should have just run the EMP there and just broken those that way, but never mind, my team cleared up. So the point is I can afford to stand in range of skills like that. So this guy gets absolutely smelted. Completely immune to the bleed, thank you kindly. Now time to reload. Nice. So yeah, these are just doing so
Medical
to be fair, he does have
assistance
very high explosive damage, but now I'm not burnt. This is the best
Agent
part. I'm not
down.
burning now, which means my teammates can res me.
Boost now
As long as
active.
he gets into cover first. So that's another good part of this build. If you die to something that causes burn or bleed, you will not burn out. Oh, that's an enemy.
Allies have acquired the boost. Allies have acquired the boost.
Thank you for that damage buff from your shield there, brother.
Rogue striker drone detected. Rogue fixer drone detected. Rogue stinger hive detected.
So what I'm going to do here now is actually shoot this out. If I can pass these pesty ticks over to somebody else. See that? No burn. I hit the explosion damage, but no burn.
Agent down.
Right, I'm going to pop a firewall heal here.
I'm sending you a specialization supply drop.
Serious trauma
Why didn't
detected.
my firewall heal finish there?
Agent killed.
Oh, did I move too early? I might move too early there, okay. So this is a good example. Now, they did rework status effects so that they do less damage, but the skills that apply them do more damage. So standing in a stinger hive is never a good idea. But the reason that I like Pestilence here is I can use that to essentially safely shoot out a hive and pass the stacks onto somebody else. But that's not necessarily a good strat, you know. I like doing it, but I'm not saying you have to run that with this build. I've just, you know, I've got a bit of a newfound love for Pestilence at the moment. For those that watch my videos will know that. Oh no, buddy. No!
An agent
So he just
needs
burnt out there.
assistance.
If that was me, it wouldn't have happened.
Rogue striker drone detected.
Supply drop is being claimed by the enemy. The specialization supply drop has been claimed by the enemy.
Rogue fixer drone detected.
Where did this guy go? Did I imagine that he ran there? I did imagine that he ran there. Wow, I must be going crazy.
You are halfway through the fight.
Agent down. Rogue stinger hive detected.
Come on, come on, come on. You went for the lady death slap. I like your style, brother. He's got away. No burn. Nice try, brother. Oh, wow, he got slapped.
Boost about to activate.
Let's get how many bullets left.
Online.
Let's go get that boost, team.
The boost is being taken by allies. The boost has been taken by allies. Rogue striker drone detected. An agent needs assistance. Rogue stinger hive detected. Agent down.
Screw it, I'm jumping over. I'm doing it.
Have run out of reinforcements. You can win this.
Passing on those big boy stacks.
Rogue fixer drone detected. An agent needs assistance.
Reinforcements are running low.
There is no way he's getting for that unless he can heal up in time, which I've got a funny feeling he's not going to be able to.
A specialization supply drop has been arranged for you.
Let's get next to my teammate so I can proc companion without.
Serious trauma.
Ow.
Agent down.
Look at this, just minus firing. I'm about to run out of ammo. I've been alive for that long. Oh, I just killed somebody there. Oh, nice. So yeah, that was a... sorry, I do apologise about the coughing in the video. I know it's not very nice to hear, so I do apologise about that. But yeah, hopefully that showcased it quite well. So you do still get hit by the explosive damage of things like chem launchers and seeker mines. Stinger mines do still do a lot of damage if you sit within their radius, but you're a lot stronger against those kind of players because they rely on the damage over time as well. It forces you to run away, and if you notice there, I was there for so long, I didn't need to run away. You know, my health wasn't great for a lot of that, but my ammo ended up getting down to less than 100 bullets. And in a lot of instances where you die, and you might not even die to the bleed or burn, but if you die with those applied, they will prevent the res. With this build, they won't. So it definitely has its strengths. I hit 60 million damage there, just under, with 9 assists. So, you know, it's not a raw sort of burst damage build that you claim loads of kills, a bit like the top player on their team. But it's supporting your team by taking away the status effects, by not dying to Eclipse users and passing it around to your team, by not getting foams, so you therefore stay alive longer. And the longer you're in the fight, the more damage and overall kills you're going to get and do. So, which is actually perfectly showcased there. 5 kills, 1 death, and 9 assists with 59.5 million damage. I think Pesty had a lot to play in that, so that's kind of my weapon of choice with most of my builds at the moment. Just because it really, you get tons of assists with it, and it really just causes the enemy team to panic as their armor regen is being completely negated by a powerful tick. But you know, use what you want. That's the beauty of this build. You just got to stick to those 6 gear pieces, and you'll be fine. So that's the end of the video. Thanks again for the continued support. I do have a new PvP build video which I'll be releasing possibly tomorrow or the day after once I've done a bit more raiding. That's more of a build to flush out campers because I have noticed a big upsurge in campers in conflict in the dark zone at the moment, and I've got a build to flush them out. It's a pretty traditional build. It's nothing new, but it's just my version of it, and you know, I'll showcase that shortly. If you did stick through to the end, thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.